Last week, a brand new reality TV show debuted on Netflix titled The Trust, a Game of Greed. And I break down everything that happened in episodes 5 and 6 for you guys. And I cannot wait to dive into these. 11 strangers are given $250,000 to split evenly. Will they take their fair share, or will the allure of more money cause them to vote each other out and keep more for themselves? It's the ultimate test of human nature, as greed and mistrust threaten to destroy even the strongest of relationships. Now, where we left off, Julie and Brian were contemplating whether or not they were going to take the offer that was presented to them on their special little retreat. Now, Julie took the offer while Brian said he couldn't be bought. Julie offer was $15,000 is hers if she keeps, if the person she votes for goes home. And of course, she gives that people like me don't always get offers. She's the martyr, blah, blah, blah. Family is not a word I like, blah, 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 whatever. So we come right on back. Brian and Julie talk about the offer, and she lies right to the man's face. She says they shouldn't tell the group anything at all. He said he thinks they should tell him. He said he doesn't know if he's strong enough to stay quiet. Now the question is, he's worried, will they believe them? The current trust is at $273,000. Jasper says he talks too much and the collective group agree. We're going back and forth here. Brian and Julie are back and announce what went down. They reveal that they had the option separately to pick the offer and had no choice but not to accept it. Brian said that his integrity isn't for sale. Lindsay said, not shocking that Brian didn't take the offer. Julie said that she said no because the consequences of the house, but went back and forth. Tolu is skeptical, rightfully so, about her not taking the offer, while Jasper is hugging Julie, giving her all of this rant and raving, but she's straight lying to their asses. Now, I'm not mad at Julie because of lying, because as you know, on this podcast, I am very, very pro yourself, playing for yourself or playing for money. You never know where you're going to be eliminated. 11 people walked in, we're already down tonight. So I'm not mad at it. Jake walked up and said he missed Julie. She like full on ass grab. These two got to be doing something, right? She didn't, but then it was like she said she didn't want to kiss in front of everyone. So what did that look like? I don't know. Whatever. When in Rome type of situation. Tolo and Winnie plan to get Bryce out, obviously, after revealing that he was the millionaire. Julie is, of course, happy she doesn't have to convince anyone to vote because of she needed whoever she voted for to be eliminated. So of course that happens. So I love Tolu. I love her a lot. I'm really rooting for her to win this damn thing. Bryce is talking to Lindsay and said he's going to speak out. Lindsay says is helping him what he should and shouldn't say. She tells the camera the more he talks, the more he realizes he was the born with so much privilege. Exactly. This man has tried his best. Every time he opens his mouth, he just sticks his foot further and further down his throat. It's just insane to me that he hasn't realized that. This is one of those secrets he should have kept, because now it's voting time. It's table talk time. Totally brings up Bryce's secret and wants to know his why. He said he has been proven. It's proven that he is here for the team. He said he's trying to build himself, and money is convoluted and doesn't define him. Jasper says to the camera how he didn't answer the question. And then, of course, he said he was checked out thinking about football, which is hilarious. I love Jasper. He's become one of my favorite people on this show as well. Jay speaks up saying he doesn't have to apologize for having money. Julie also delivers the performance of a lifetime with a bunch of lies. I mean, we've got some really strong actors in this series that I really feel like have the opportunity to really, I don't know, debut on Lifetime or something where they could really, act their asses off, because they impress me with the amount of lies. People are starting to vote. Jasper, Brian, Jake all say they're not voting. Bryce is worrying about being voted out and is unsure if he wants to cast a vote. Lindsay is upset because she's having to vote for Bryce, and she tried to get him to defend himself, and she can't defend someone who won't defend themselves, and of course voted for Bryce. And for the first time ever, Brooke said multiple people have voted and someone will be going home, which of course is Bryce. He asks if anyone wants to fess up about voting for him, and of course, nobody speaks. Brian throws a fit, called him a bird of a different feather, and Jay called his ass out for it, which was really funny because what the fuck does that even mean? Jasper and Brian are talking strategy and having to go on the defense. Jasper mentions going after Winnie first to play the game. Brian says that Tulu and Winnie are the dangerous ones, and they are coming for them now that they're talking and they're trying to make a deal with Lindsay, but they're going to try to get Julie with Jake. They're trying to rendezvous here. Jake says he really wants to kiss Julie. She says she has to think about it. Maybe they haven't. Maybe I missed it. Like, I feel like they have, but apparently they didn't. Jake walks into Brian and Jasper and they fired him, jumping at all cylinders, saying they need to cut out Winnie. It's game time. This is finally the first time we've seen the men on defense here, knowing that they have to make a move because if they don't, they feel like they're going to be the next out the door. Jay said for the first time she moved. Jay announces to everybody for the first time she moved her bathing suit and peed for the first time and didn't pee on herself. And she started laughing so hard in her seat, she farted. Like, Jay is really literally the most extravagant, incredible person I've ever seen on like a reality show ever. Jake and Brian are talking strategy with Lindsay and how they want to take out Winnie. They have no idea who they're talking to. However, Lindsay said she doesn't feel safe because of Winnie and Tolu. And my goodness, she said this. She's like playing both sides. Again, not mad, strategy. You've got to protect your own ass. It's test time. Brooke is going to ask them who's been telling the most lies. They put on blindfold. Once she taps them on the shoulder, they have to take it off and blow out the candles. Once all three of your candles are blown out, you are out of the game. Julie is up first. She picks Jay. Jasper picks Winnie. Lindsay is next, picks Winnie too. Tolu took her blind off and saw Winnie's candles blown out, and she's pissed, so she blows out Brian's. Winnie's turn, and she is shocked. She picked Julie and called her the biggest load of everyone there. Jay picked Jake. Jake picked Winnie, and she is the first eliminated. She got a card with the silver stripe and is going to the vault, and nobody knows, and she doesn't have to tell anyone. When he has the chance to address the group, and if anyone has anything to say, anyone to talk to them, she calls them all bitches and said, "If you don't like it, I don't give a fuck." I love the thing about it is Winnie is like playing defense here. She knows that whatever she does moving forward, she might be on the way out. Lindsay lies and says she didn't vote. Julie says she picked Jay. Mama Jay is pissed. Winnie voted for Julie, and she's pissed. Tolu headed downstairs to confront the men about voting for Winnie. And Jake says, why? Playing dumb. And why did they vote for Winnie? Jasper calls out saying, how does she know it was them? Tolu said she voted for Bryce. List out all of the reasons why she did it as a result of him not needing the money. Instead of asking, they could have just asked, voted for her and scheming and walked away. So she said that Jake is the first to go and the game is about to get fun. Winnie is down in the vault. Winnie is in the vault and doesn't have to tell anyone if she looks at the offer, but she has to take it. She knows there aren't all singing, kumbaya together, and that if it benefits her, as long as it doesn't hurt Tolu, she has a lot harder. And she said it's a lot harder than she thought it would be. So she said, fuck it. She gets 20,000 from the trust is hers. If someone is sent home, but nobody goes home, she has to go home instead. When he said she went into the vault and she gets 8K and somebody has to go home. But if they don't, then she has to go home. So she started talking strategy. She lied to everybody. So it's only 8,000 instead of 20,000. Tolu said Jake was going home for free now, which is hilarious. Or Tolu said Jake was going home for free, but now he's going home for $8,000, which is pretty funny. Julie said she is worried she is next and doesn't trust Winnie. Jasper and Brian are talking the game. Tolu and Winnie are talking to Julie about saying Brian or Jake. And that's it for episode 5. Now we're going to jump right into episode 6, where we are down to 8 and it's getting ugly in the house. Jay and Winnie and Tolu are talking strategy and are worried about Julie. Julie and Lizzie are both talking about Tolu and Winnie are not good people. Jake, Brian, and Jasper would protect them. Tolu and Winnie are not happy with Julie bringing her in to talk to her. They ask where her loyalty is at. Winnie says, Jake don't like you. You're letting him play you. Winnie and Tolu tell her off and say, you destroyed the 2 strongest people in the room. Julie isn't happy because she doesn't want to fit into their box. Now, this is where I think for the first time, Winnie goes too hard. because they've been very, it's my way or the highway from the beginning. Um, and that to me is where I feel like them going so hard at Julie forced her to go to the other side completely. She was playing both sides already, but then it was like, I'm going full-fledged over here with these guys because Tolu and Winnie are going to come after me next. Winnie confronts Jasper and Jake, and they both are honest about blowing out her candle. They single Brian out for not voting, which sparks wonders in Winnie's head. Winnie and Tolu need to blow things up and spin things on somebody else. So she's going to ask Brian if he blew out her candle or not. He said he didn't do it, and she's blown away and apologizes to Brian for assuming it was him. When he figured out it was Lindsay, and now they know she lied. They are starting to put two and two together. We get a card game at the table. It's poker night, and they're going to build trust. Each card, every time someone plays a card with your name on it, you get a chip. Life of the party is up. Everyone picked Jasper and pisses Julie off. She's so selfish. Like, look, there are so many different things about this game that I really like. Julie has played certain things very well as she's played both sides of the fence. On the flip side, what's been frustrating is I don't like the martyr side of her. We all have that. I understand where her background, I understand her frustration and all of these things and everywhere in between. However, my frustration continuously stems from how she acts on this show. It just annoys me. Brian is stacking up the chips at like 25. Jay has only 3. Most trusted. Jay picked Winnie. Lindsay picked Jay, but Jake picked Lindsay, which floored it because the game has been played and Jake blew it. Jasper picked Lindsay as well, which Jay is pissed. She is mad because Lindsay is with the guys and has noticed that. And this really kind of outed Lindsay in her game playing of being on the side of the guys now because she's been trying to play both sides. Brian wins the most chips. They're adding $25,000 to the pot. There's one more card to play. Jay got the fewest chips tonight, and she has a date with Brooke in the vault tonight. Lindsay asked to come in to talk to Winnie and Tolu, and they said no, which was hilarious. Again, Winnie and Tolu kind of overplayed their hand here. Of course, then, Julie went back to wine to the boys. And then, of course, dramatic music. As Jay enters the vault for the first time, she has an offer for $25,000 from the trust. But her time on the show will come to an end. She did not blink twice, folks. She said, give it to me. She didn't even hesitate. She is pissed by Lindsay's betrayal. She's gone. Finish. Adios. Sayonara. See you later. The group was told that she got 25,000. She just yanked it from their asses, which is hilarious. Jay said her only 2 friends were Winnie and Tolu. Brooke returns to announce that she took Jay to the vault and was given an offer, and she couldn't refuse it, and they won't be seeing Jay again. Of course, Tolu and Winnie are struggling. They have the numbers, and Julie said she meant it when she said that she wouldn't vote for Winnie. Winnie said she's planning on blowing some shit up. Tolu heads to talk to Brian to apologize to him. It's kind of a game playing mode here with Tolu and Brian. She's trying to reel things in, but really everything is really just at this point. Winnie wants to blast Lindsay, but Tolu wants Winnie to relax a little bit. Jasper is talking about getting rid of Winnie and how it'll help the team. It's trust time. Nobody says a word, and Winnie is ready to call people out. Winnie said she would never vote for Julie, and she never would do so. Winnie said everyone wanted to play family, but one person has been dishonest. She said she asked Jasper and Jake if they blew out her candle. She said yes, but Lindsay said she didn't vote, followed by asking Brian, and he said he didn't blow out her candle. She calls her out, saying she's been playing both sides. Winnie calls out Lindsay, calling her the biggest snake, and she had handed every person going home. She's laying it all on the line here. Winnie and Tolu both call her out, and Lindsay doesn't say a word. And Jasper says Lindsay not defending herself at all is scary, which is very true. Like, just straight yikes. Brian is mad as fuck and said it didn't seem like Tolu or Winnie were lying, and it's scary having her in the house. Of course, this does not surprise anybody here. Winnie was voted out. Oh, sorry, that was the end of episode 7. But Lindsay says Winnie was voted. Tolu, Winnie, vote Lindsay. Brian votes Winnie. Julie says the guys want her to vote Winnie, but she won't vote. Brooke offers a ticket to the vault to Brian for having the most chips. Brooke said multiple people received votes, and of course, we get a cliffhanger going into episode 7, which I kind of already spoiled for you guys. But that's it for my recap of episode 5 and 6. I will be diving into episode 7 in a separate version of the YouTube. So tune into that and tune in next week as we get to the season finale. Who will make it to the finale of The Trust, A Game of Greed, and who will be walking away with money, and how much money will they walk away with? That's the big question. I'll talk to you guys soon.